The World Bank reports that Guyana will earn more than $20,000 for each citizen in 2020. It also reports that 48% of Guyanese are living below the poverty line of 1,100 Guyana dollars per day. The Working People's Alliance and Dr. Clive Thomas recommend each household be given $5,000 to help to deal with the rising cost of living and hardships. The government refuses.
Conniving morning, when you had your pocket full, in a bill there'll be morning. Now because your money done, you hustle for tell me morning. Yes, morning, neighbor. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. A 2 pound note and a guilder piece. This is all the money that me walk for. I said money neighbor, money neighbor, money, money neighbor, money, money. I don't want you conniving money.
Don't talk to me. 62259 Hey, sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday. Come on down to Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays. Karaoke on demand. Yes, selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos. Karaoke in the house and lots of old school style. Come check it out this Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North. Big up yourself and go on. Club Twilight Promotions done.
I don't select the Delta. I don't select the Delta.
Hey sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring select. Hey sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday, come on down to Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays karaoke on demand. Yes, selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos, karaoke in the house, and lots of old school style. Come check it out this Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North. Big up yourself and go on. Club Twilight Promotions that. The World Bank reports that Guyana will earn more than 20,000 US dollars for each citizen in 2020. It also reports that 48% of Guyanese are living below the poverty line.
What you could tell me? How you could give me directives when I'm more certified in this area than you? Y'all talk to me. 6225933 is the number to call. The lines are open. Just as I was just open the book on Saddam Hussein and Marcelovsky and everybody. The lines are open. Come on, let me talk your business. I'm waiting. 6225933 is the number to call. Oh, and before I forgot, I really did forget. You know, yesterday I went to court, right? Answering to that charge.
Hey sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday, come on down to Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays karaoke on demand. Yes, selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos, karaoke in the house, and lots of old school style. Come check it out this Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North. Big up yourself and go on. Club Twilight Promotions done.
We used to feel so much.
fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday, come on down to Club Twilight, sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays. Karaoke on demand. Yes, selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos. Karaoke in the house and lots of old school style. Come check it out. This Thursday at Club Twilight, sideline down Buxton North. Hello? It's me. I'm wondering where Dr. Hinds is this morning. Morning, morning, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. They don't want my conniving morning. We should have been talking with Dr. Hinds this morning, you know. I don't know where to do this. I really don't know where to do this. Anybody see Dr. Hinds around? I don't know where the man is, you know. Yeah, I'm missing in action. Nevertheless, it's 7 hours 16 on the 7th day of December in the year 2022. Yeah, 7:16. Seventh of December, 2022. There are things we will have to talk about this morning. I want to address some issues. Maybe this is Education Month. Maybe this is Education Month. Yeah. How was your yesterday? I understand. I hope you had a good day yesterday. I don't know what you did and how you did it, but I am just hoping that whatever you did brought satisfaction to you and a sense of accomplishment. Because there's so many people who are living in despair right now. And when they look around them, it seems as though there's no hope at all. It's the 7th of December. A lot of people are already stressing. It's December. When well, I ain't see the money for the new set yet. I know how we're getting pepper pot. I ain't even get black cake money and so on and so on. What y'all all strain? Salary is coming up in a matter of days. Today's what, the 7th? The 8 days. By next Wednesday, Thursday, salary gonna start paying. If it is start paying already. Just remember that what you expect to be a largest can be a largest. And so don't plan to splurge. Because come January, the prices of the cost of living will still be high. As a matter of fact, it will be higher than December, my projections are. And you still will need resources to tide you through January and February and March and so on and so forth. Remember, you get less than $1.50 per day on your salary increases. Less than $5,000 a month. And so old people say, don't hang your hat where your hand can't reach. Don't buy things that, you know, will leave you in debt. Good? I read some time ago that the difference between poor people and rich or wealthy people is that poor people buy liabilities. Wealthy people buy assets. And if you can't recognize the difference between the two, just ask which one brings you money. Which one takes money away from you and which one brings you money? Which one takes money from you is your liabilities. Oh, I want a big fancy 60-inch, 65, 70-inch, 80-inch, 90-inch, 100-inch television. What have you considered the electricity consumption on the 100-inch television? It's going to send your light bill up. Me, I want to decorate the whole front of this house with icicle lights or fairy lights, whatever lights you all call it. Have you considered that December month you got higher light bill to pay?
Because all them lights you got outside, inside, all up in the trees on your parapet, maybe all under your bed. Have you considered that? I'm simply encouraging you to take stock, sit and think about what will improve your life as against what will make you feel good for the moment. A lot of us are into this short-term, get-rich-quick or die-trying attitude. A lot of us are into this feel-good now, rather than delaying gratification. And I'm encouraging you to do just that. Let's see how we can delay gratification. Oh, I see they got some nice blackout blinds there, boy. Oh God, and the color's wonderful. They're a little pricey, but good so. The one Jenny that always flying she mouth, I'm gonna make sure shut up this year. And you're gonna buy the nice fancy blackout blind for your windows. Forgetting that you did buy blackout blind 2 years ago. Right? And after this season, well, you got blackout blinds to throw in a barrel. But you broke. Consider that. Consider a lot of things when you want to do hire purchase or payment plans or whatever they call it. Require, in many instances, for you to have a lump sum. Of course, if... Who is this, man? Of course, if you go into quotes where it's nothing down or $1 down, you don't have to have any big down payment. But if you want to go to one of the car dealers, you might need a $700,000-$800,000 to pay down, right? This is a season when you might get $700,000-$800,000 to pay down. Give me a minute. Somebody at my gate. I don't know what it is want. At this hour. Who's there? Hello? I'm on a program. May I come back to you? Yes. Yeah, this might be the season when you can afford that $700,000-$800,000 or whatever the down payment is. You look, you might see all of the car dealerships and so on advertising, or all of the businesses that can do layaway packages and hire purchase and so on, advertising these special packages. This is the time, drive away for Christmas, boom, boom, right? Because they know you're getting lump sum money. And so you have the lump sum money in your hand and you decide, all right, this is the right thing. And you go out there and you use the lump sum money as a down payment, as a down payment for the item. And you say, hey, driving, oh God, I'm looking nice and fancy for Christmas. Santa coming in a 4-wheel sleigh with engine in front, AC and so on. Right? You feel like Santa Claus, you're doing well. You're going to check out all the relatives and so on over the holiday. Oh, lad, looking fancy ride! And so on. Because you got the lump sum. The dealers knew you were going to get the lump sum because they know you got back pay to get. They know you can get some overseas remittances. Right? And so you get the lump sum and so you go and you buy. You pay down on that item. And you're required to pay an installment, which you really and truly didn't pay attention to. How much is this installment? What chunk of your salary will this installment take out of you in the new year? Some of them just give nothing to pay till 3 months or 6 months. And then at the end of 3 or 6 months, you realize, that's a big chunk out of my money, you know. Right? A big chunk out of my money. I now can't afford to pay rent, utilities, and the installment on this car or this item. So I'm struggling. I have to choose now. Whether I eat, whether I wear, whether I have shelter over my head, whether or not I pay for this acquired liability. right? Because you didn't consider that when you had a lump sum money in December. And so you now have a struggle. You got a struggle in the new year. Alright, some people might say, listen, I ain't gonna give up this car, I ain't gonna make this easy car, I ain't gonna get somebody else's car to work taxi. Recognize immediately that you're going to be breaching the arrangement, the contract, because you're not supposed to take the car to work taxi. It's supposed to be personal use. I just caution the yard, you know. I know we just think, right? It's personal use. And so we take a chance, we're gonna still get somebody to work taxi. Because the money that gonna come from the working at the tax, working the carrier's tax, you're gonna have to pay the installment. But they got some unscrupulous people. The amount of damage they do to that car or that vehicle, while making you the money to pay the installment, usually costs more than the installment to repair. So you find yourself in a frustrating situation. You get frustrated. Because every month you're collecting what? In most instances about $72,000 a month. $18,000 a week. I never hear anybody give taxi on more than $18,000 a week. It's like everything else goes up, but taxi income don't go up, you know. All December when they're charging doubling chargeback costs and so on. Taxi owner getting more money. Taxi driver alone knows the value of money. Good. And so the story is, you're struggling. And you're struggling and you're struggling. And you realize instead of advancing, you are really stagnating or you are retrogressing because you made bad financial decisions. And I'm telling you this morning because I would like us to make good financial decisions. Don't go and splurge. The $60,000 or $70,000 that you might collect as your back pay, plus this month's pay. Let me calculate. Let me do some maths to the police. If you're going to collect in $102,000 as your December salary, plus you get what? Let's say $72,000 back pay. You're collecting like $174,000. Don't I calculate tax yet? Right? So let's say you're collecting $172,000 in January, in December. Just remember that in January is $102,000. It's $72,000 less. Good? And so in doing all that you're going to do in December, ensure you realize what you have to deal with come January. And prices are continuing to rise. Cost of living is continuing to rise. Right? You want to bring value to the $172,000 and $74,000. As a matter of fact, it's not even the $174,000 that is available to you as disposable income. Well, it's available as disposable income, right? But remember, in most cases, your salary, your month's salary would have already been accounted for because your bills were there before, and you have to be living off $70,000 or $80,000 or even $100,000 before you get this increase. So that money is accounted for already, basically. What you have as additional disposable income is your back pay. If you want to get value out of that back pay, my advice to you is to find something and invest it in. You now have readily available capital. Whether it's $70,000, $80,000, $100,000, some people get $400,000. It means they can do more than you. But you don't have capital in your hand. And capital brings benefits. Capital is actually an asset. Capital brings benefit because the returns on capital is called profits. That's the earnings from capital if you invest and manage wisely. And so I'm saying if you're going to get $70,000 or $80,000, call it extra on your December salary. Think about something, some small investment that you can put it to, that will continuously generate money. Don't spend it on something that will continuously generate debts. Right? Don't buy curtains with it. Curtains are just that, cloth. They ain't got nothing to bring to you, except on perhaps immediate gratification. But after that, what? You can't even sell them back to catch a raise if you're broke. Right? Some people like gold jewelry. So some people might very well go make a slave band or some fancy chain and so on. That's an asset. But if it lies there, it really don't make no money. It doesn't make money. But if you're broke, you could pawn it. Right? And when you pawn it, it can cost you. So technically, you just created a liability there. Or if you're broke, you can sell it. But sometimes the gold prices are down, especially as we say make gold. And so you might not even get back the cost, the full price of what you paid for it. So my advice, look around. See what is there in your community that is needed, that people use on an everyday basis. And invest in it. Some of you are going to get a nice little idea, you know. Right? Again, a nice little idea. There's so many students in each community. There's always a need for photocopy or printing services in a community. Always. Always a need. Not every household will have a printer. Not every household, maybe every household might have access to a computer or a tablet or something, but they don't always have a printer. And even if they always have a printer, they don't always have ink. Right? Right? So there's always need for some kind of printing or photocopying services, document production and reproduction service in communities. If you got $100,000, you could start something in your living room, you know. Go buy a nice fancy printer, scanner, copier that could do maximum legal size paper. That's 11 by 14. No, 8.5 by 14. That's 8.5 by 14. The long papers we want to call it. Because there's some you will find it could be cheaper than the others, but they can only do 8.5 by 11. Let's see if you can find something doing 8.5 by 14. Buy it. Ensure it prints color. Children like color. And start something in your living room. You might be surprised to know how many $20 a day you can collect. And you can get back your $100,000 and that can still be there to serve you and your household, you know, while serving the community. I'm teaching you a small business. And I know the numbers are not big this morning because we ain't talking about anything scandalous yet, right? I like a scandal, I like a sesh. But why not financial education this morning? And I'm in the mood for financial education, so yeah, I share the life. We're going to benefit somebody. Trust me, we're going to benefit somebody. Right? So every afternoon, you know, they got 10 children coming at you to print. And so they always have to wait for perhaps 15, 20 minutes when they come. Because somebody's in front of them. Right? What happened? Children like sweet mode. Add something to the services. Tamarind balls, they like them. Pickled mango. How about coolum? Icicles. Start with couple egg ball. Hey, but egg is a big man, alright? So, you know, offering printing services, copying services, sometimes because somebody could type, you're offering typing services, research services because you have internet access. Again, every home might have a computer, but not every home can afford data and internet services. And so children, when they have to do certain kinds of research, they come to you and ask, Auntie, I gotta get the national symbols of Guyana or the national symbols of Trinidad and Tobago. Could you pull it off of the internet for me? It's a cost. Back in my time, it used to be $2.40 an hour. Right? And so you're offering these services because you invested your $100,000 back, pay wisely. And you're expanding your small business now from printing and documentation services and so on to offering little refreshments. When they come and sit down there, they might want to chew on something. Sell them tamarind balls, sell them mitai, sell them plantain chip, sell them chicken foot. They might thirsty. Buy a case of water, $1,500. If you buy a case of water for $1,500 and you sell $100 for one, you get half the profit, half in profit. I mean, you're going to get it for a little ice. But if you sell a case of water, $100 to one, you end up with $2,400 to the case. Take out your $1,500 to buy back a case. Even if you throw in $300 to ice cost and so on, you get $600 profit. It's almost so. Half and half, 50%. The small business got money, You got to just know what to do. And I'm giving you advice this morning. Don't go spending $100,000 at Regent Street. Whether it's Sokwaja or Kopelani or Singh and Sons or whoever. And in the first place, nobody looking like you. Don't really sell Christmas thing, You notice that? In those vendors on the streets, where you could always go and pick up your curtain rod, the flexible ones, and you could pick up this and you could pick up that, and you could pick up that. Them are huskers, I think we call them. They're going to buy from people who look like you, They're going to buy wholesale from people who look like you. And selling back to you at, of course, a markup. So instead of you spending your money like that, invest, man. Invest. Invest. Trust me. You would smile at the end of the month. You might very well find that small business was properly managed. Right? Provides you more than your salary. Trust me. I've had the experience. I tell you all, when I used to teach part-time at Annandale Secondary as a geography teacher, I used to plant a kitchen garden in Guyana yard. So I used to eat fresh. I used to eat green, vegetables as I like. Get up in the morning and I feel like eat some steamed greens as a dog law. I get a little callaloo, I get a little pop chai, I get a little pie, I get two boar, I get some oko, and I steam up all of them. There ain't no rice. And so you eat fresh and healthy, you're eating it coming out of your garden. And I used to sell to the neighbors. Some days I used to sell almost the equivalent of my monthly salary. And I'm serious, some weeks you sell your monthly salary as a part-time teacher. We just have to be wise in our doings. Don't go spend all the money, man. Right? Don't spend all the money. Delayed gratification. Yeah, you see the nice fancy boots that you always admire your neighbor in. I know you get some back pay, you could go and buy it. But what the boots gonna do for you? Help you walk the streets in poverty? That's the cost of the boots, buddy. The fact that you got something on your feet, that's what matters. Right? So I'm encouraging you. Older folks, younger folks, I'm encouraging you likewise. And all the folks must sit down and talk with the younger folks. And don't wait until the money don't come into the hand where they're all excited and ready to dang. Y'all know dang? Ask them young people it is to dang. You can't wait till they get it and their eyes bright. You have to help them to plan ahead. Otherwise, when they get it and the coup say, let we go and down is down. Right? Let me give you all the story. I work with the Army, the Guyana Defense Force. Right? And you sit and you talk with soldiers, and because I was in the education publicity department, you sit and you get off with ranks and so on, and you hear some stories. You see this December month? You think you think it's the happiest month for soldiers? It's the saddest month for some soldiers and their families. Especially their families. Because when their families here, they're getting their regular month salary. They're getting back pay. Plus they're getting an extra month salary. They talk right now in the Army, or maybe since some around September, especially that the PPP is in office. Soldiers usually talk about double or nothing. Double or nothing. Double or nothing. That's what you hear. Double or nothing, boy. Double or nothing. Double salary. That is what every soldier expects at the end of the year from the PPP. And just like night is sure to turn to day, they have been offered a double salary. So they're getting double salaries. Plus they're getting back pay. Let me count some soldiers' money for you. Assuming they're earning $102,000 a month. It's $204,000 immediately for them. Right? By salaries. Plus back pay. Let's say they get $70,000, $72,000 in back pay. It's 204 plus 72. It's $276,000. Right? $276,000 for this month for some soldiers, perhaps the lowest ranks. The Army got a thing the name BANG. Ever heard BANG? Who know Army business? Attacking Army business this morning as a case of making my point. They got something named BANG. Who know BANG? Now BANG is one of the biggest stands the Army holds on a mountain. I don't know if they still do it, but December month, I'm most sure they're going to get BANG. You know, like some people just sit back and calculate how to spend your money for you, how to get your money. Good. The BANG, perhaps, I can't remember if it used to be hosted by the credit union. But definitely they used to get BANG. And I expect that they can get BANG this month. Would you believe, and this is based on stories that some soldiers have told me, at the end of BANG, some soldiers cannot find money to go home. Real thing. I mean, now systems have changed where your money goes through the bank and so on. Your money is directly deposited to your bank account. And it is assumed that all of it will not be withdrawn. Right? But previously, there are soldiers who told you that at the end of BANG, they got a whole set of them there. Can't find money to go home. In some instances, the Army got bosses that use, if you're a Berbice soldier, and soldiers from Berbice and families from Berbice know this story. Right? They would, the buses will take you up to New Amsterdam, I think, up to the Stellenbosch Signal, back then. I think soldiers got to cross with the ferry free. Some of them can't find money to pay from the park, the bus park, to where they live in. And that is a total lack of financial literacy. And so we have to sit and teach our youngsters. There are some older folks who need this kind of teaching too. Financial literacy. And you can't wait until they get the money to teach them that. You have to teach them before. Let them plan ahead. Parents got to start singing around the clock. Them 6 zinc sheet that they over this bedroom where you to sleep. You remember when it rains, you gotta run and brace your bed up in a corner and come outside and sleep in them chair. After this month, you ain't gonna sleep in me chair. Say best know you're gonna buy, take money and fix them 6 zinc sheet. It sounds like a joke, right? I know, but that's how I know to teach. I teach using the realest of examples. And you can't only tell them though, you gotta stick to it. Because if you know you only get feed on your own. And all year I feeding you. All year you're eating on $10,000 a month. Your salary increase. So you gotta increase this $10,000 with this gift for your contribution. You gotta go to at least 12 now. Excuse me. So don't tell yourself you got money for do stupidness. And you're sitting now in Ford Farm. Next year you're preparing for examinations. We got exam fee for pay. You got help. That's how you teach. Sometimes you really want the money because you got your little stash. But that's how you teach responsibility and financial literacy and so on. Right? Guess what? When I worked with government, we ain't got money yet. So I couldn't thief much. I couldn't steal a lot cash 1K. You gotta study what Jack do them thief in the way. Oh, why I thief? Assuming you know that I thief. And I'm almost sure if I thief, right? Guyanese like there's everything for Guyanese is basically a noun we use, right? Good. Even if I thief, and you fear it out with your family members, I put it to good use. Right, catch 1K? Good. So don't worry how much I thief. God is me judge, you can't judge me. Right. They don't like when you impart knowledge that will make them poorer, make you richer. They don't want our people to understand financial literacy and how to deal with money. You know what I'm saying? They don't like that. They want us to shut our mouths. And so our offspring, our family members going to just occupy Regent Street. Not for the right purposes of shutting it down and bringing this government to the knees and letting this government understand that we will not stand for the oppression and discrimination anymore. Right? But they want you to occupy Regent Street to spend out your hard-earned cash. The insufficient increases on wages and salaries. Your starvation wages. They want you to occupy Regent Street for that. Excellent. So as far as people like myself would come here and share, apparently lightheartedly, information that will make you smart in the management of your money, they don't like that. You ever catch 1K coming? How much you thief when you were in government? Right? How much you thief? Where's he coming? This society believes, or a certain set of people in this society believe, that black people are the biggest thieves. A little black boy snatch a cell phone and plastic on a newspaper front page of a newspaper. Two Indian adults murder granny. It took days before you saw a photograph of any of them. An Indian educator and a teacher slashed her grandmother's neck, murdered her. I don't know if her photograph has been ever published. You don't hear about those kind of crimes among black people usually. last you hear of an African Guyanese murdering a family member to covet their property, to steal from them. In most instances, if you hear African Guyanese murdering family member, it's because they get big passion when somebody stabs somebody. Crime of passion, I think they call it, because they vex. But not these connivance, these conniving criminals, yeah, got cash 1K. Black people don't sit back and cold-bloodedly plan to murder their family members out of covetousness. It don't happen. Right? So don't come to me funny this morning. And I'm still on track. Yeah, don't worry, I'm still on track. Right, I'm still on track. Good. So that's what we have to do. We have to start to talk to our family members even before these monies are spent. And parents, demand from your children because they're getting back pains, but don't demand for by courting. Demand to invest. Demand to set aside for wet days, as they say. The way things are going, some of us don't even know that we got jobs next year. So, you best put up your money for guava season. Put up your money for guava season. Because the rate at which black people are getting oppressed in this society, you don't know when your turn will come up quick. Catch 1K say lies and more lies. Imagine. Anyhow, we chatted. Right? Have them to understand that. I see a lot of people singing the praises. I'll buy some people get contract. They get contract for now. When again will they get the next contract? When again will they see a next contract? And what are these contracts about that they have gotten? To clean the drains in the neighborhood. That is all you are good for. This is all we good for. We can't do better, we can't get better. I see everybody bawling for the price of the bridge over the Blacker. How much million? 50-something million dollars? To the bridge over the Blacker? Everybody bawling. One bridge costs all the money. More money than it costs to do, what, 25 bridges in Buxton? It's Christmas. The boys got to get paid. And y'all got to understand that the boys got to get paid. And when the boys are getting paid, they are using the oppressed and the oppressed as a conduit for their money to make it look as though the oppressed and the oppressed are being given an opportunity to participate in the economics of this society. But at the end of those big contracts, keep in mind, at the end of those big contracts, even those that they're saying that those in our BUXTON got, the real beneficiary, the people who get the big money out of those contracts, are not the our BUXTON residents. They can get the ends. They might score a 200 or 300 at most of $500,000 on a contract. So don't be carried away. You get an opportunity to make some money, make some money. But don't let that sway you. Don't let that get you buzzedy. They say some woman see big car in the money, they get stupid. Then check for see if it's then check for see if it's newspaper panning in between. As youngsters we used to do, cut the whole set of newspaper to the size of notes and stuff them inside and put the notes up top and say walking around with a word. But at the end of the day, what the word is valued. Some people getting contract in our BUXTON, yes. Bridge building in Sapphire, yes. But at the end of the day, who are the beneficiaries? Who really get the thing happening? Right? We gotta be woke, and we gotta stay woke. Watch me. I'm not surprised that a bridge over the Blacker can cost that amount of money. I like to say Guyanese people are accustomed looking at price, they don't look at quality. Most people will say the thing expensive, but they didn't stop to ask you what quality it is, how long lasting it will be. Because based on how the society goes, people buy according to affordability. Cheap people can afford it, we buy it. But it's gonna last us 6 months, and we gotta go back and buy in 6 months. Where somebody might sell for $10 more, so it seems expensive. But by spending that $10 more, we end up with 1 year's service. It saves us some money, on the cheap one at least. People don't see that in this society, most people. And you can't blame them because they have to buy and live within their means. And so when you see a bridge costing $50, $60 million, you holler. We can interrogate that. What kind of bridge is being built? What preliminary works have to be done to accommodate this bridge? Because the bridge over the Blacker is a bridge over water. There's a waterway underneath. As we see, if you build a timber bridge there, the continuous moisture is going to destroy it in quick time. So I'm hoping it's not another timber bridge. If it's a timber bridge, then let us cry blood. In this modern era, I would want to assume that we're going to have a heavy-duty concrete bridge constructed over the Blacker. And so let us examine the cost of a concrete bridge over the Blacker. Is it realistic or it is not realistic? Those are the kinds of discussions I want to have. Meanwhile, I hear that the bridge costs $60 million and start hollering. I want you to give me the details of the bridge. Revetment. How much revetment is going to be done? How much supportive work, how much preliminary work has to be done to ensure that we have a long-lasting bridge? That is what matters to me. You see, you don't oppose just for opposition's sake. I mean, every contract that is given out in this country expect anywhere between 10 and 15% to go missing. They call it wastage. The international agencies call it wastage. They just don't want to call it thievery. But they know that is what it is. 10 to 15% will be lost through corruption. And that's conservative 10 to 15%. So take away 15% from a $60 million bridge, and you end up with 85 million, 85%, which rough calculation might be about $48 million. I don't know. I'm just guessing the numbers right now. So the real cost of the bridge might be about $48 million, assuming it's $60 million, they tell you. Right? But these are the kind of analyses that we have to engage in. Not just only because you see the money big. What are they doing with this money? What are they doing with this money? How much we know? We can't stop them from thieving. Because the World Bank and other international agencies basically right? Basically said that expect once projects are done in Guyana, they're going to thief at least 15 million. At least 15%. Keep that in mind. And then ask yourself, what is being done with the rest? Good? I'm pointing out to you again. In African Guyanese communities, the residual value from these contracts is minuscule, is small, is minimal, is little bit. I'm using all them words so you could understand. What left over from these contracts is usually a little bit, next to nothing. Because they're low-cost contracts they give to you. In other communities,
predominantly Indo-Guyanese communities, the residual value is usually big because they get big money contracts. That boys like set top of the line, top shelf contract they get. So when one contractor is getting $102 million for one street or one bridge in an Indo-Guyanese community, 10 or 12 or 50 or 20 contractors are getting $52 million to do 25 bridges in an Afro-Guyanese community. By the time they're finished, the little bit that they got left might be just enough to put food on the table. I'm going to tell you something about culture in black communities, African Guyanese communities and stuff. And so they don't have capital to invest in equipment that will enhance their productivity and enhance their business. If you do a contract and get $200,000 residual value or even $500,000 residual value, you can go and buy a canter, a small truck with it, so that the next time you see a contract that requires a truck, you could tender. But when your residual value is 10s and 20s, 10 and 20 millions, you could go and buy a sand truck. And so even if you're not getting contracts for construction, you got a truck that could be selling sand. And so while the African Guyanese contractors, they depend on getting a few small contracts here and there, you got the ability to get contracts here and there, labor contracts, and you also got a truck that could get involved in a supply contract, supplying sand for all of the construction that's taking place. And so the other people get way ahead of you. There's a big gap, the poverty margin or income generation gap keeps widening. With the other people getting to acquire more and more and more and more because they give them the opportunities. But you in African Guyanese communities are given little or next to nothing. And you got to jump up, you got to sing praises, you got to take out photographs, you got to bend over to show to the world that these wicked and vindictive people are giving you something, although it is a scraps off of the table. While the other people are getting a free pass to acquire more upon more upon more upon more upon more. Do we recognize that? Now let me tell you about the culture I was referring to in black communities, African Guyanese communities. From the time you get a contract, it might be your first contract, you're contracting a big time contractor. Yeah, boy, you're a big time contractor, you got big work, boy. You got buy wrong. And every car the assembly pass, you might get buy wrong. And so, well, when you catch yourself, the amount of wrongs you're required to buy from that little residual value, you really got none left. Right? You really got nothing left. You think it's a joke, right? It ain't no joke. As serious as that. Sit with your family. Discuss how we are going to move from point A to point B. What is required of us? What can we do? We know the system is stacked against us. How do we beat this very system that is stacked against us?
right? Me at 50, 60, 70. I might have inherited from my foreparents. How does it serve me at 50, 60, 70 to hold on to that inheritance? How do I improve or increase the value of that inheritance at 50, 60, 70? Is it more beneficial for me to bring on board one of my next generation to add value to that inheritance? Do we have those kind of conversations? Do we have that kind of mentorship, let me call it that? Anybody sits and talk with us about those things? Let me give you a good practical example. I inherit a whole house. We like all our inheritances whole house, eh? Whole house for the whole house. I inherit a whole house. Might be a wooden cottage. So the most part our foreparents used to build cottages out of wood. So I inherit a wooden cottage. Let me say, let me give it a scope, a 3-bedroom wooden cottage, wooden house, whatever you call it, wooden dwelling, with the lands on it. Back when I inherited it, the yard wasn't fenced. The land was not used to flood quickly. There was no school in the area, neither market. But as development happens, time over time I built up the land. And so the land is well built up now. A school is about 3 miles away from me now, or 2 miles, or less than a mile away from me. They built a market just about a mile away from me. They're doing the main road passing through the community. All of those things have contributed to the value of my whole house going up. My inheritance, my little whole house. The value gone up. But the value has gone up at a time when I'm too old to really capitalize on that value. Y'all follow me? So if I continue to hold on to it, I'm not doing myself a favor. Because as much as I hold on to it and do nothing to it, it will start to depreciate in value again. The house is going to lack repair. Other more expensive houses will start to be constructed around it. And so it is losing value. What I can do is either get my children or my most trusted child who understands the assignment. And remember, I say who understands the assignment because it is not always the eldest child that understands the assignment. Sometimes it's the youngest among them who understands the assignment. And if the youngest among them understands the assignment, it's a very good thing. It's good for the oldest among them to understand the assignment. But when the youngest among them understands the assignment, you got advantage. And I'm going to tell you the kind of advantage you have. If you were to approach any financial institution for financial services, let's say a mortgage, they look at your life expectancy. How much more years are you expected to live? How many more working years do you have? And so naturally, the youngest of the lot will have more working years and a longer life expectancy. Or at least they expect to live longer than those who are already way up there. And so it's likely that the younger one
will get the facility easier, providing that he or she meets the criteria. And so if you were to transfer that property that you're holding on at 70, 80 years, 50, 60, 70, 80 years, to your 25-year-old son or your 20-year-old son, and say, go to the bank. This is the assignment. Based on our projections, if you're able to get so much money based on the value of this property, this is what we can do with it. We can modernize this property, we can put in the downstairs, we can rent out the downstairs, and the rent from the downstairs is going to have to pay for this property, if not pay in totality for the next number of years that it has to be paid for. You got to understand the assignment. Right? You have to start thinking about along those lines. Because ordinarily, I have 50, 60, 70 holding on to a property that has accrued in value. Really getting the full benefit of the property. I perhaps am not doing anything for my children except give them a little shelter. But if I understand the assignment, then I can have them use that very property to improve their lives. I like to think outside of the box. And we have to sit and talk with each other outside of the box. Here's another example with that same property. The bank might give the youngest child 30 years to pay. But we know we had a plan. And if all of us pool resources at the end of the month plus the rent, assuming we can afford it, we could pay it off in 15 years. And after 15 years paying it off, we now got good credibility with the bank. We will mortgage that same property again. They call it refinance. We're going to refinance it. And we're going to build one in the backyard. So we got two properties now. And we can continue to use that same concept to develop wealth around us. To the extent that every family member perhaps might be able to get something that will improve their life. But it's important to understand the assignment. We don't buy liabilities with our money. We gotta buy assets. We don't buy things that will take away money from us. We gotta buy things that can bring money to us. This is what it comes down to. Right? Me buying curtain. Use jute bag and cover your windows. Reusable curtains. They don't like. Look, I don't know something. I don't know where it's coming from. You had white curtains last year. You want white curtain this year? Go buy dye. Dye cheaper than curtain. How many of you know to dye fabric? Whether you want to make it tie-dye or you just want to change the color. Oh, my dye. I must say this man mean. I'm not mean. I think as a people who are oppressed, financially and otherwise, we have to come up with plans as to how to beat the system and come out of this oppression that we're in. That's what I'm thinking.
Of 1,100 Guyana dollars.
a bill, tell me morning. Now because you money, all you hustle for tell me morning.
Yes, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. Neighbor, neighbor, joker. That's all the money that me walk for. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. A 2 pound note and a kill the piece. This is all the money that me walk for.
I said, morning, neighbor.
Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, I don't want you conniving morning.
Oh, Joseph.
Hey, sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday, come on down to Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays. Karaoke on demand. Yes, selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos. Karaoke in the house and lots of old school style. Come check it out this Thursday at Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North. Big up yourself and go on. Club Twilight Promotions down. Morning, neighbor, morning. Morning, neighbor, morning. Neighbor, me I go and bunch banana down there. He may start ton. Me see him up to last night. Now this morning I look for him with it. Neighbor, anybody jump your fence? Because me not see no footprint, you know. Me not know if this banana get collect in the air. What go on really, neighbor? Neighbor! Morning, neighbor, morning! Your neighbor best be your brother's keeper, you know. Especially in this time, this is Christmas time, everybody looking fit. Everybody looking fit, so you gotta be a brother's keeper. You hear a song, look out, make nice. If you hear a song outside, you make a song inside, you know. So when you hear certain strange songs in the wee hours of the morning, outside, all you gotta do is bang something inside. So they know that, hey, somebody there up, somebody listening, somebody gonna see. You know, in boxing, we say them friendship people don't come out, but they always know. Hey, Oladoy. Yes, they say in Buxton. Friendship people don't come out, front side people don't come out, but they always know. How many of you live in communities like that? Where you don't see people. You don't see them, but Leonard Zephyr, morning. You don't see them, but they could tell the story next morning as if they've been right there. You yourself wondering, oh, I've been there and I didn't see this person, and I know this story so well. Huh? Right? That is the thing, but it's Christmas time, so everybody should look out for somebody. This is a time when the petty thieves and robbers are roaming. This is when they're looking for it because everybody want pork in the pepper pot. Everybody want meat in the pepper pot. So who got it will feel it. Because who ain't got it looking for it. Right? And it's the same thing with Guyana, you know. Sometimes when we look at our community, we see a microcosm, a small part, a smaller aspect of a small representation of what is really happening in our country. And so everybody looking fit. And so those who got it best understand that them who got it looking fit and they're going to come fit. So that is why it's important that you ensure that everybody has access to it. Right? Everybody has access to it. Why you think they're broken down people's houses in places like Mocha and so? Why you think people in Beirut and so on getting a hard time? Why do you think that in Borbits and so on in some communities they're doing all manner of things? Why do you think they changed the boundaries of Melanie? A lot of people don't know that they did that. But I know that the senior politicians were quite aware. And I believe they're too damn lazy to defend the legacy of Barnum. So they let it pass. Yeah, this morning is truth morning. Right? If you see it happening, say something. Take a picture. Make a recording. Take a picture, make a video. Send it. Not only to me, there got other people in the struggle too, but I would always love to have it first. Hey, right? And you know, there's some things that people generally, not everybody would be comfortable showing and so on. But for the most part, if you send it to me, I show it or I discuss it. There got some people who have skeletons in the closet, man, and so they can't afford to talk about certain things in public, lest the enemy, the opponents, the PPP, take out the black book on them. Some people in the PPP black book, you know. Right? But don't worry yourself, it's 7 hours 21 on the 8th day of the 12th month, that is the 8th of December. It's 7 hours 21. And as those of you who are always on Facebook and so on, and those of you who follow the page diligently would know that this morning we are expecting Honorable Nema Flue-Bess, Member of Parliament, the People's Representative from the East Bank here. Right? Yes, she's being driven this morning by somebody driving the car there. She sit down in the back seat. Nema, good morning. How are you doing?
Good morning. And I don't know if you could hear me. I'm preparing to travel, so I have to connect with the phone.
So
because I didn't get to George.
So your mobile data?
I don't know. You're having good audio? Yeah, I don't use mobile. Right now, Wi-Fi. But when I move, I'm going to end up on mobile.
All right. A word of advice from experience. If you turn off your Wi-Fi on the phone, it will go right away to mobile. And so you won't have that fallout when you leave. Assuming you got unlimited data.
All right, so let me... I have, you know, the data service that we use, how it stays. So let me come off the Wi-Fi.
Yes, you come off the Wi-Fi, it should switch to the data. And so we should have a smooth discourse from there on while you're traveling and so on. I hope so. Yeah, so...
You hearing me?
Yes, I heard you. You can continue speaking. Let me hear how it goes.
All right. Good morning. Do have a blessed day.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. They're telling me your bandwidth low, but we can work with that. Don't worry yourself.
The bandwidth low?
Yeah. That is because of where you are. It's not your data low, you know, the bandwidth. Right?
That's why I was trying to get out to the community to do the program.
All right, don't worry yourself. We don't want to inconvenience you. We just want you to help us out to understand some things.
That's okay.
Good. So for this morning again, we have honorable member of Parliament Nema Flue-Bess in the house with us this morning. At least there she is. Let me see.
Good morning.
Full screen. Right, so you have the honorable member here, and we're going to be talking with her this morning about, as I call it, mocker demolitions and oppressions from the PPP. We've been following for quite a while all that has been happening. At least, you know, I try to make it my duty to see what's happening around the place and keep people alerted. And I am sure the viewers will agree with me if I say that Nema Flue-Bess is one of the more visible member of Parliament. Every 2 mornings you see her popping up here and popping up there. I only know her by name, and the fact that she's a member of Parliament. Through the grapevine, I heard that she's a teacher at one of the Georgetown schools. Some people say she's much liked. And so I like to start by getting to know the person, and so I help you to get to know the person. So Nema, who really is Nema Flue-Bess? I never heard of Nema Flue-Bess until she appeared in Parliament and so on. And then she's always on the, what should I say, on the media. Who is Nema Flue?
A pleasant good morning to you, Comrade Hinds, and a pleasant good
No, no,
morning to your
sorry. This is Mr.
viewers.
Amsterdam. Don't mix me up. I know you see
I'm
David Hines in the
sorry.
thing, but we just share the same Zoom. This is Kid Aki
Okay,
Amsterdam.
okay,
God, I'm more handsome than
okay.
David Hines.
My apologies. There's a
Accepted.
name I look at the bottom. Okay, good morning, Mr. Amsterdam, and to your viewers, good morning. It's a privilege for me to get up this morning and join you on your program. I am known as Miss Flue or Teacher Nema because of my profession as a teacher of physical education and sports and sociology. I don't know if you're hearing me still. I
Yes,
just
we
want
are
to make sure
hearing
you're
you.
hearing me.
We are hearing you.
Okay, yes. And NIMA is known to be a community activist. I've been very active in my community from since I've been a teenager. I work with the seniors in my community, the footballers, the children, and so many other areas I'm involved in. I'm a believer. I've worked in the church. I continue to work in the church. And my greatest passion is to help people. I always seek to help people in whatever way I can. What has driven me into politics is when I sat and look and see what was done to my community, Mocha Arcadia, under the previous PPPC administration. For 23 years, we look at everything running down to actually nothing in the community, no developmental works or anything like that. And because of what I saw, I recognize that if I just sit at the back and complain, just say, oh, nothing is happening in the community, no development is taking place, but I am not doing anything to make a contribution, then it makes no sense. And that is what has driven me into politics and getting involved in helping my community and people as much as I can. I'm very much a people person. I love working with individuals to make a difference. I feel very proud as an educator when I go around and recognize that my students are now able to help me because of what I would have done. So basically, that is a little of who I am. I'm a mother of 5 kids. People would not know that, but I'm very, very proud to be a mother of 5 kids and being able to manage and take care of my family.
Well, I'll tell you personally, for a mother of five kids, you got good speed, man. I saw you representing your zone at the nationals there. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah. Some people only got one son and son they can't run. I'm usually interested because from where I'm sitting, I mean, you say that you're a mother of 5 children. I see you as a young politician. In the past, a lot of people believe that, politics was for old people. And you see 70 and 80-year-olds becoming presidents and so on. Like, you got to wait till you are septa and octa before you could turn president and prime minister and so on in these countries, especially in the Caribbean countries. How early did you get involved in the political life of your community, of the country? Yes, you were there working with people, doing community service and so on, but hardcore politics, if I can call it that. At what period of your life, I want to know your age, but how young, if I can say that, were you a teen, were you in your mid-20s, early 30s, whatever, when you became really involved in politics?
I can tell you since about age 16, I've been involved in party politics in my community, in the groups with the women and all of that. But I was not a person who would step out into the front. I always worked from behind the scene.
Very well. And so for those young people who are listening, just know that you can do this thing early. I myself became involved politically as a teenager with the Working People's Alliance, WP. I've remained there. I ain't no grasshopper. So I've remained there all the years, and I'm really, really grateful for the exposures that I've gotten. But now in your community, you say you saw what the PPP did in your community for 23 years, and they're back to continue to do. Let's go back so we can go forward. What were some of the, in my mind, wickedness you witnessed from the PPP that forced you into becoming as vibrant a politician as you are?
economic genocide. I grew up on the farms, going to the farmlands with my grandfather every weekend on Saturdays and Sundays. And we spent our time on the farmlands, planting and reaping, cooking, enjoying. As soon as the PPPC administration went into office, the first thing they did to the Mocha Arcade community was to block the main drainage canal that drains the farmlands of this community. In Mocha Arcadia, predominantly the people are involved in farming. Back then, you know, our elders, most of them did the farming. They go to the farm every morning. But then eventually they were unable to have their large-scale farming that they would have enjoyed with their cash crops and provisions and all of that when the PPP blocked the main drainage canal, hence resulting in excessive flooding of the farmlands. So a lot of the farmers now had to move from the land that they were planting on and do farming on the dam beds. So you had a lot of these fields with bush because most time it was underwater. Now they return, they've blocked the drains again. I'm going to talk a little about that a bit later. Secondly, what they did, our recreational space or was not helped in any way or developed in any way, because I call my community Little Brazil, because a lot of our young men, a lot of the young women, some of them play football. And so football is a big thing. And so that was another area that they cut off. So you find a lot of young people used to be playing on the road. When it comes to development of infrastructure, no single road was done under the PPPC administration under those 23 years. All our streets were in deplorable condition, even to the main road of Mocha Arcade community. Mr. Ben, who was then, I think, Minister of Works, came to this community and said to us that Mocha Road was just an access road, not a public road. So they didn't deserve electricity, and they weren't going to do any work on it. You know when they started to do work on that road? When they decided that they were going to develop the schemes to the side of the road, that is when they thought it necessary or best to do some work on the Mocha main road. Back then, we would have held protests and all of that to get the roads done because of the potholes and all of that. We then had no good bridges to enter our community. They were all in deplorable conditions under the previous PPPC administration. And so those were just some of the main things that caused me to get involved. When it came to education, I recognized that our children, a lot of our children were struggling, you know, to keep up because of a lack of access to resources. And I use my skill, my knowledge through my church, and we set up a homework center, provide free internet and all of that so that the children in the community could have had access to resources to help them to improve their education. So those were some of the things that really drive me, because I couldn't see, we were in a country living, you have a government, and nothing is being done to help the people. And the question I kept asking myself is why? And you know, I keep saying to myself, if I just keep sitting here and just ask why and don't try to do nothing, then nothing will happen. And so that is what got me going, and it still has me going, because now they're returned and they're doing the same thing.
Well, you have identified so many ills of the PPP of past and present. But yet recently we have seen a whole, what I should say, love affair with residents of Mocha and the PPP. Are we missing something there?
Well, let me bring you now to what they've done. When they returned to office in 2020, the first thing, I don't know if you can recall, we had this market day at Mocha Arcade community, because under the coalition, the drainage project was done to assist farmers to return to their land so that they could have continued their farming. Now, from that return to the land, we were able to have our first productive market day where people could bring out the planting, the provision and all of that. for sale. As soon as the PPP sat down there for a couple mornings, they came and they blocked the drain. By the time we called the next market day of 2020, we didn't have anything much to put on sale because why? I've witnessed farmers losing 200 sucker in planting, and you're just standing there helplessly looking and see all these fruits and vegetables just falling down. The young, they were supposed to be reaped within a few months and you couldn't pick them. And that is as a result of them blocking the drain. I can tell you currently now, they've blocked the drain once again close to December month. So you're having excessive water on the land. And right away, that is total economic genocide when it comes to the people of the Moka-Arcadian community, those who are farming. Now, we also have the ground where the Air Fanali came in here and tell the people how they can do the ground and all of that. Imagine we spent money to put mud and all that to build our ground. Then they're just sending a contractor who decide that he's probably God, Lord God Almighty, because they're not communicating with the NDC, and start digging out all the muds that we spent money on to put on the ground and start selling it. That's an issue I'm going to be dealing with very shortly. And digging up all the mud from the ground. We have two grounds in the village. We have a large ground that is currently under construction, a FIFA-sized football field. And we expected that if any materials were to be removed from the current small community ground, that it would have been placed on the large ground. But no, the contractor probably felt or feel that he's so powerful, as he would have said to the people that he's working the government, not the people in Moka-Arcadian community. So they've dug up all that mud and throw it there. Then you have the Cane View issue, where they have decided that they will remove those people in the name of that the people are in the path of the road, which is not true. The people are close to the road, but again, they do not want the people to be economically empowered. I really want viewers to understand that. If the highway is passing close to the road, then the people who live there, who can do their little gardening and all of that, the people who use the land for the living can make money. They don't want that. So what they're doing, they're pushing the people off of the land so that they can put whoever they feel should get the wealth to occupy the lands. And so these are just some of the issues. I have another one with ancestral lands again, another set of ancestral lands where they Sonny Parag and Kwame McCoy, I'm not afraid to call the names because they come and they go there, in collaboration with a group of people who have no idea or do not understand the history of our community, and they're invading our ancestral lands. But I will not sit idly by and allow that. I will not. And so that is the issue that we have ongoing in the community. Imagine when Irfan Ali and his team went to her Stelling, which is just out at Moka-Arcadian there on the main road. The NDC was informed officially about the visit and all of that. When they come to the Moka-Arcadian community, they're not involving or informing the NDC officially. They're just coming in and just walk in and do the please. And that's where the confusion and the problem continue to arise in the community. So the love affair that may appear to be existing, I can tell you, it's not diehard or people who really knows or understand the history of our community. They're persons who just show up and feel that they have a right to, do as they please in the community. And that's our issue that is currently ongoing.
And so we see out there all the time fighting, making representation on these issues. But what I perhaps want to say is I don't see the number. The diehards, as you see, really putting their shoulders to the wheel and coming out behind you and insisting that, we stand with NIMA and NIMA stand with us, and we are not going to allow this nonsense to happen. For example, the contractor digging the earth out of the ground. Where are the residents to stand in the part of the machine and say it's not going to happen here? right? A few mornings ago, I read of residents in Borbisa. What's the name of this scheme? I can't even remember. But they stood in the party machine and said, "You're gonna break this road. This road built since Fab's Bornham time, and it is the best road in the community. We're not going to allow you to break it." Right? Where are the diehards of Mocha? Why aren't we seeing the residents of Mocha really standing up to this oppression and resisting with all the tissues of their body?
Well, I can tell you what. Maybe I'm to be blamed for not showing all the people that would stand up ever so often with me. At any of the dispute we may have, because at no time am I out there alone. At no time. Once there is an issue ongoing, if I cannot get to the site or the area in time, I call residents and they will go. And they will be there to stand up. Even today, the stupid protest that they had with the 3 people, 2 of which I have no idea where they came from. Residents wanted to go out in the rain to confront with them. Wanted to go and confront with them. But as a resident in the community, there are many ways to deal with issues. So I can tell you that even though people may not see these individuals physically on the ground at the time that I may do it. For example, when I did a live at Cane View, there were a number of residents out there standing on the road. They blocked the road the first time I was out there, and they recognized that the people weren't listening. They start pulling out a whole lot of stuff and start blocking the road so that they could not pass with the vehicles. When the road started being blocked, then the police decided, you know what, this is going to get ugly, so they're going to move. The last Saturday too, when the machine turned up to break the home, there were residents right there that was very much involved and vocal with what was happening on the ground. So, Mr. Amsterdam, I want the viewers to know they are diehard people that are always there. That no time do I move around my community without the support of people. They're always there. They're always on the ground with me walking around. I can tell you that.
And so how impactful is this resistance? Because I want to call it resistance to all of these efforts of the PPP to undermine the efforts of the residents of Mocha to economically and socially empower themselves.
I would say at this stage it is very impactful because, one, with the move of the people at Cane View, you know, the Ministry of Housing have published all kinds of things. They publish names, and I would say to people, you know, it's always important that we spend time reading and paying attention to detail. If you check all the notices that the Ministry of Housing would have published about telling the people at Cane View that they have to remove, every time they publish, names change. There's always a change in the name, the number of persons there. And you know, sometimes people will just say, oh, notice go out, but nobody pay attention to what the notice actually says. And that alone tells you that the information they're putting out is not totally true. It's not factual. And what you find now, that since we've been highlighting and pushing, because I have a letter that the residents had written to the president, Irfan, when they came first about these people at Cane View, highlighting that there was 35 households with 50 children. There's a number of children they have displaced that were living in that area. He didn't find it fit to engage with people. They did not find it fit to engage with people. And so what they've done is engage and made deals with the other persons who do not depend on the land for their living. The persons remaining at Cane View are the persons who have their cattle, their livestock, they farm, and they live on the land. They don't work with anybody else. They work for themselves. Those are the persons they have not engaged. And so since this issue has been pushed to the forefront, I can tell you up to the day before yesterday, official from Ministry of Housing was in here telling the people, yes, they know it's ancestral lands. And they were willing again to listen what they would have wanted in terms of deal to remove. So they're now spending more time engaging the people instead of taking this high-handed approach that they've been using to get people off the land without actually engaging the people. You know, it's very sad and something that I will forever hold in my heart, to look at how an administration can actually sit behind a desk and make a decision that 35 families, 50 children deserve to be removed from an area, which we know that the road is not passing there because the Minister of Housing came and told the people they want them to remove because the noise will distract them and affect them because of the machinery that be worked in the area. He came and said that at a meeting. And when you look at these things, you make a decision, you have not taken into account the social impact on the lives of these people is very sad. Very, very sad. And I can say our standing up, our speaking out is making a difference because they're trying a different approach in dealing with the people and trying to get the people to still negotiate with them to move from the area. They're not using this big high-handed approach because it is now being publicized widely. And when they come to the ground, I would say to people, y'all have to come out to your numbers and they must not engage one person at a time. So they can say that Harry agreed to that or Paul agreed to that. I would say to them, come out to your numbers and they must speak to the masses so that people will know. So not one person they're talking to in a corner quietly and making a deal and leaving the rest out to dry. So for me, I think we're making an impact, but there's more work to be done that can be even more impactful in this particular situation.
And so, listening to you, I can't help but laugh, right? For the minister to come and tell the people they have to move because the noise will affect them. People have to make that determination for themselves. And like you rightly said, the government had the responsibility of doing the environmental impact assessment before proceeding. How many? Because I read somewhere along the line, they're claiming that there are just about perhaps about four households that are standing in the path of this road. You're saying that nobody really is in the path of this road. How many households are they trying to displace currently? I mean,
currently,
out of the 50, the 45, 50 children and so on. Have they been able to move any of them? How many are remaining?
They would have removed those who've accepted compensation and moved to a smaller area. And you know, those persons who've removed, I can tell you, I look at them, some of them every day, and I shake my head. Because they now have to pay transportation from where they're now located, come right back to the village to carry the children or the grandmother, the auntie, or whoever to look at them, and then pay transportation to go out back to work. So that's the first thing. They continue to suffer, but the government already gave them a compensation, and they now have to bear the burden of their expenses. The persons remaining there, I think, is about 8. I don't know the exact number. Yes, I have to check my phone because I keep updating it. And those persons, one person got about 60 or 50 head of cattle. They got another person with about 30 pigs in that area. They got persons who got the little small business with chicken and all these things going on there. So the persons they have not yet engaged or make a compensation for are those persons who have their livelihood right there. And that is the issue. They're living there, and I can tell you currently there might be about 12 or 15 children still remaining there with the households that are left.
And it's important to note that I heard you basically speak to it in passing, in that those who accepted compensation have been moved to smaller spaces. It's important to note that the expanse of land that is currently being occupied, when you move, you get what, a 40 by 80 or something like that, which doesn't permit you to continue your economic activities. And so this person with 60 heads of cattle and 30 swine and so on, most likely will not be able to continue that economic activity if they accept to be moved to these new areas. Right? And so, like you rightly said, economic genocide. I always like to be on the money though. What the compensation package was like? Any idea what they offered those people who moved?
Those persons who moved, based on the information I received, because I can tell you the checks that these people receive are being paid with is through Citizen Bank. It's not a Bank of Guyana arrangement. And how they do it, the persons go to housing, collect this check, and they go straight to the bank. So they're not bringing home anything to show anybody anything. In terms of cost, I was told that the largest amount or something person would have received is something like $22 million. So one person would have received that. Everybody else would have received somewhere between $5 million, $3 million. A lot of them are unable to complete their homes.
Wow.
A lot of them are unable to complete their homes.
Wow. Unable to complete
They're
it.
not comfortably placed.
Is it a lack of knowledge on the parts of these people? They don't understand the value of land. They're just what? Anxious to hear about $5 million and $3 million.
Mr. Adams,
Amsterdam.
I'm so hurt about this thing because from the initial stage of this issue, I was there. I brought in legal representation, Roysdale, Mr. Harmon. We bring in people, we bring in lawyers to talk with them. And the few who went, those who went to make the conversation went and do it without any proper guidance. I don't know if it's the figures tricked them or what caused them to be tricked, but they just went ahead and do what they have to do. The persons who are remaining are persons who are very much knowledgeable and persons who know and understand the value of what they have. There's nothing like feeding yourself, producing, using your land to earn. You don't have to report to anybody. You don't have to wake up at a particular time to report to a boss. Nothing like having your own income. They understand the value of that. But those that took the compensation, I don't know what they were thinking, who fooled them, into saying that this is going to happen, that is going to happen. But people need to understand the importance of standing up for your rights. If you don't stand up, you'll be walked upon.
Very well, so I know you promised me half hour. It's now 8 minutes to the 8 o'clock hour. I'm thoroughly enjoying this conversation. I hope you're not ready to go. is there anything? Pardon? I didn't hear that.
I have to leave to take my baby to school.
Okay. Is there anything you want to touch on then before you disappear on us? Anything, any information you want to share with us before anything that I really didn't ask you about? For example, what constituency you represent in the East Bank? I know it's not Mako alone.
No, the entire East Bank, from Eccles to Moblissa on the highway. Before I go, I want to touch on two things quickly. This morning, I was engaging with discussion with residents of Peters Hall. I don't know if you're aware that the government intends to remove those people from Peters Hall to say that they're putting the Demoir Harbor Bridge there. But you know what's sad? These people, what the administration is doing is this bully tactics again with the people in this area. They were called to, and informed that they'll be coming to do an evaluation with Ministry of Finance evaluator to determine what's the value of those persons' home, those transported lands, those homes that have been there for how many years. And so residents are very concerned about this new development, and they want to believe it's as a result of what took place in Parliament recently with the questioning on the monies for public works and how much was spent on all of that. I think there's an article published this morning. I didn't read it as yet in Starbuck News. I have to look at it because residents were lamenting the fact that these people are coming with this bully tactics again, not properly engaging. I don't know what feasibility studies they did to remove those persons from Peters Hall, or that claims that the bridge, the Demoir Harbor Bridge, is best suited there. In my mind, I think the Demoir Harbor Bridge, moving it, was to ensure that it helps to alleviate the traffic build-up that we have, the build-up that we constantly have on the east bank of Demoir. But for you to move it backwards instead of forwards, I don't know if they like the idea of having heavy traffic. I would really love to see the feasibility studies that was done in that area when you have people just moving in and do whatever they want. There's also ongoing issues in several communities along the East Bank. Samville, for example, the people there waiting to get a road. They're not getting the road done, but the ministers are using that same area to go through to Swan, the other area, their stronghold, to distribute hampers and monies and whatever ever so often, how they're so disrespectful to the people at Samville, because like they don't intend to give them a road. They have ongoing issues at Laluni on the Suzaik Highway, Linden Highway, where letters were just distributed to the farmers in that area. I don't know what is wrong with this administration. Trust me. To tell the people that they have to remove from their lands because the road for Silica City got to be passing there. No prior engagement, you know. No prior engagement. And all these actions that you see tells you that we are dealing with an administration that does not care about the interests of Guyanese. They're not interested in the ordinary Guyanese and how people are living. They don't think about people culture. They don't think about how they're affecting people day-to-day living with the decisions that they make. They just sit behind a table and do as they please. And I want to plead with our Guyanese people. We have to get this administration out of office. They need to get out of office because they continue to make life very, very hard for the average Guyanese and the average worker that move around in this country. It's very, very troubling. For the people of Mocha Arcade community, you hear me talking a lot about it because I live here. I pay keen attention to everything that happens in my community because I live here. And even though you see it appears that I'm being attacked or people feel that they want to do whatever they feel like doing, I will continue to speak. I will continue to represent everyone possible as a sitting member of parliament. That I can guarantee the people I will continue to represent. There's nothing that's going to make me silent. Nothing. No matter what they do, no matter what schemes, what plans they come up with, I will not be silent because I have to speak for the voiceless. I have to speak for people who feel that they cannot speak. I have to be there to motivate people because if we don't do that, we will be continuously trampled upon with this regime that exists in Guyana this time.
And you, I know you have to go, but lastly, hopefully, that Peters Hall issue. I remember Sharon and I, we were up at Peters Hall, highlighting the flooding that was taking place in the area because of the faulty sluice gate and so on. Just last week, I received some videos and voice notes and saying that, you know, up until now, this thing is not fixed and we're faced with the same flooding and so on right now. Is it a deliberate ploy of the government to perhaps convince these people that it's in their best interest to move?
I feel that way, you know. I was there after you and Sherrod left. Probably the next day I was there. And I walked and visit as many homes as I could, listening to the people and engage with them. And when you hear people say that, you know, MP, this thing was reported prior. Nobody did anything. Nobody cares. And then they come to do the work and you have to be there looking at them. I spoke to a worker that works with the said area there, and he was saying, you know, I don't want my name to be called, but we reported this thing. And it's like, if you're wondering, these people deliberately want this flooding to take place so that people can become frustrated to leave the land, just like the farmers in Moko. You want to frustrate them so that they can come off the land and so that you can occupy the land and do as you please. People have to stand up. People have to stand up. And not just standing up and speak, write letters. I always say to people, you know, I would go to areas and they would complain that, you know, this is not being done, that is not being done. And then I would ask, did you ever write a letter to the NDC or the relevant authority highlighting this particular issue? And I said, me feel like writing no letter. So where did you make a report to the NDC about it? Yes, I did. But do you think the NDC will provide a record to show that you have actually reported this thing? I've been to several NDCs and engage with people and you check the minutes and you see people say they went to this meeting and they would have spoken about this matter, but you might not see it recorded there in the meeting. So these are things that you have to do. You have to write, you have to make your complaints, ensure that it is registered so that when you're fighting an issue, there's more information that you have there to back up what you're doing. It's very, very critical. And the same thing with the people at Peter's Hall. I've been engaging them and saying to them, you have to speak out. Nobody coming and evaluate your home to tell you, the government coming to evaluate your home to tell you that it is worth $10 when you know to yourself it is worth $30. You have to get your own evaluators to evaluate your property and all that you have there. Because if it's a negotiation, you got to go into there. If they decided they're going to move the people at all, well, they have to pay the people. They have to be properly compensated.
Any plans to move to the courts on this matter? Should it become necessary?
I wouldn't be able to speak on that. I leave that to the legal people.
Okay.
I leave that to the legal people.
Thank you, MP. Thank you for your time. Have a great day. The mic is yours if you have any final words.
I want to say a special thank you, Mr. Adams, for inviting
Amsterdam.
me. I will surely make myself, Miss Amsterdam, sorry. I will surely make myself available any other time that I can to come back and spend the entire time with you on your show so that we can engage in more discussion. So your viewers, I want to say thank you for tuning in and listening to me. Let us remember that we, the people, have the power to make the difference, and let us use every opportunity possible to make the difference in the lives of someone. God bless you, and thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. Feel free to hit me up anytime you feel like coming. Don't wait for me to ask.
Yes.
Have a good
Sure.
day. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right,
Bye-bye.
folks. So we had MP, Member of Parliament Nema Flue-Bess with us, and you've heard what's happening at these banks, what's happening particularly in Mocha, and the wicked and vindictiveness of this administration. Not only now, it's long they're trying with the residents of Mocha. Old plantation slavery tactics, and that's why ever so often I say the PPP believe that they're the new plantocracy, they're the new masses in this land, right? Because in days of old, when the plantocrats wanted to punish black people and impact their economic development and so on, that is what they did. They flooded the farms, they blocked the drainage, and so that is what the PPP has been doing of past, and that is what they're doing present. I saw somebody say, when they block the drains, we open them. Yes, it might be an easy recommendation. I'm not too sure that it's an easy task. Because in most instances, heavy machinery is used to block these drains, these canals. And so you have to get heavy machinery to reopen them. In many instances, you only know that there's a blockage someplace, but it's not necessarily easy to identify where the blockage is. Right? So all of these things are to be considered. But really and truly, unless you're an apartheid government, why would you want to block the drainage canals for certain communities to affect their productivity? Y'all tell me. Right? So you block the canals at Mocha so that the residents there can't produce, they can't consume what they produce and so on, or they can't produce for their consumption. So then vehicles have to come from Parika and Hubu Back Dam and so on and drive through the Mocha community to sell produce, right? So it's an economic thing. It's about empowerment. We will impoverish you so that those who are on our side will be empowered. It's now 4 minutes past 8 o'clock hour. Let's open up the lines. 6225933 is the number to call. Call and let's talk what you feel like talking about in relation to what we just discussed with the Honorable Member of Parliament, Nema Flue. Yes, I must admit that Nema Flue is one of the more visible parliamentarians. She has been out there and she has been doing work. And for those young people, I want you to take note that you don't just wake up one morning in your 40s and 50s and 60s and decide I want to join the political party and I want to be a minister, or I want to be a regional representative and so on. You have to put in the work from young, right? There are many of us who have been putting in the work from our teen years, right? And when you do good work, eventually you get rewarded for good work. Admittingly, there are lots of people who have done good work out there and continue to do good work, but they don't get that necessary reward, or they don't feel that they are being rewarded the way they desire to be rewarded. What is important for me is service to the people. We have to continue to be servant leaders. Yes, we can't offer leadership and behave as though we are God and Lord of it all. We have to work with the people's interests at heart. We have to listen to the people, right? We have to be in the gutters with the people. And so, together, we work to change the system. Don't go there like a bourgeois and call yourself leaders. They ain't got bourgeois leaders. Leaders have to be determined to go into the gutters with the people that they represent. Caller, your life, good morning.
Good morning, brother. Good morning to one and all. I'm going to speak in Guyanese ghetto language now, right? First of all, we all know, all could see what is happening. These people have declared war on us, on black people, right? They've declared mental war. They've declared economical war. They've declared physical war. So, with that, there's a saying. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. And the time for us to be proactive, that time has passed. So we have to be reactive right about it. So we should be reactive, right? These people, they won't understand until they see blood running on the streets. And that's exactly what we need to do. That's exactly what needs to happen right about now, right? We see they're going to Moko, a black community, a black village that was owned by slaves, and they're trying to do the victimizing the people. They're doing whatever they're doing to people, and bugging their livelihoods, and bugging them for eating because they take away their farm and all these kind of things. These people don't know, they don't do nothing else to survive but farm, right? And they try to take that away. So, as far as I'm concerned, that's like if they're committing murder, they're committing mass murder. That's how I look at it, right? Because people could starve, right? And economic genocide, as Mr. Brother Lincoln called it, right? So we need to push back strongly against this. In Moko, for instance, in Moko, it's not a very large village, but it's a good-sized village. It's a very strategic area. And I know Moko. Moko is a one long road in, one long road out. I don't have to change up now. Right? And I'm sure there are more than 100 able-bodied young men in Moko. So why are these people coming in with the heavy duty equipment, and ministers coming in and they destroy these people's dam and the road and all this kind of, I'm sure there are more than 100 able-bodied men in Moko. Why are these things happening? Why are blood running? Why are these ministers frightened to go into these places? Why aren't they afraid to go into these places? Why are these contractors getting to work in peace? Right? Where the police guarding them, or what? Why are they not being tied up on the machine, naked, and the government coming and see that is the status quo? Why are these things happening? Right? We do have lots of people who are able to do these kind of things, and these things should be happening until blood running on the streets. This government won't understand and establish oppression against black people, right? So we have to declare war against them, like they declare war. I'm not talking physical war, right? That's what we need to do. We need to stop crying and talking about this here, and let the international community come in and help us sweep the blood off the streets. That's what we need to do. It is serious as that. Right? Mr. Hughes mentioned last night on Dr. Hinds' show about the revolution in certain countries. How it happened. He's talking about apartheid South Africa. South Africa had the biggest military in the world, he claimed, and still apartheid regime was removed by the people. So the people need to come out. We do have leaders like yourself, right? But the people need to come out and start depending on leaders, and they need to throw the first punch. and then leaders will back them up. So, black people, y'all come out, defend your territory, right? And don't allow this to continue to happen, because the more reactive we be and non-proactive, it's going to be worse for us. The time, like I said, the time is past for being proactive, so we need to be reactive now. We just need to do what we got to do. Simple as that. That's my time. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, y'all know me when these sayings, right? Y'all know what people say. Motor say you are shit, but you feel them, right? Have you ever heard that saying? Motor say you are shit, but you feel them, right? I am sure even if you never heard it, you can understand it. Right? When your body wants to go through that natural process of excretion, right? You usually say, whether verbally or whether in your mind, you say, oh, buy more shit. Right? And when you go and you put yourself over that ablution facility, it's then you know where the pressure is. The anus does feel the strain. Mountain say you want shit, but you feel them. Why am I saying that this morning after this column? Because it is easy for us to say blood must run in the street. It is easy for us to say do this and do that. But it is also a fact that who feels it knows it. Who, the people who have to put themselves to the blows, are the ones who will feel it. And they have to determine in their minds whether or not they are ready to feel it. You see me, I go there every opportunity I get to protest this and protest that. So much so that people might believe I'm the mighty I'm the mighty protester. If I had a Calypsonian name, I might have been the mighty protester. Right? But I've determined in my mind that protesting, standing up against injustices, is one of the things I'm prepared to pay a price for. Right? I'm not sure that the majority of Guyanese citizens are at that place. Right? I'm not sure that the majority of Guyanese have found themselves at that place. But the court is right. Sometimes it is necessary for bloodshed. Because when there's bloodshed around certain issues, not only are local authorities faced or forced to step back and take a second look, but the international community pays closer attention. And once they get involved, sometimes saner heads will lead. Right? Sometimes you need to get, as them boys say, head got for bus. Sometimes head got a bus. People gotta bleed. Because when that happens, apparently some people only understand the language of blood. Blood covenants and blood this and blood that and blood the other. Right? And so sometimes it comes down to that. I listened to that young lady on the tape we played yesterday. What her name was? Roslyn, I think. Who said that in order for them to get to talk to Jack Dio, they had to throw themselves in front of the vehicle. The ancestors at Buxton Friendship threw themselves on the train line to stop the governor from passing in order to get audience with him. Because they had come to the point of realization or agreement that come hell or high water, he can talk to us. Like Roslyn and the others came to that point, come hell or high water, Jack Dio can talk to us. And so they took similar actions. What are we prepared to do across this country to make this government listen? What are the residents of Mocha prepared to do, apart from what they're doing, to ensure that the world gets
attracted the worst seeds they plight. Splendid work is being done by the MP Nema Flue-Bess there. Splendid leadership is being offered. You heard what she said? The residents started blocking the road. And the police got involved because they realized it was going to get nasty. But you don't always allow the police to deter you, right? And that is why every community needs a goon squad. I just said, every community needs a group of strong, able-bodied men and women with the temperament of the likes of Dan Kunchin from Buxton, who will be prepared to stand in defense of their community and their community's assets. Where are these folks? Right? And they must know that the community will stand with them and behind them. And when you have that assurance, then I'm sure a lot of them will step forward. A lot of them will step forward. I have some names in my head. I don't. BUXTONIANs who I refer. They're referred. Right? For their stance in defense of Buxton. I'll tell you all the story. I ain't calling names though. Right? When the Black Clothes led by Fraser and Murray and all of them used to run in Buxton like they're heading good. And beating up Buxtonians like they're heading good. And tell themselves that they alone bad. And they alone know to use guns and so. Like they're heading good. You know what stopped them? Or what gave them pause? At that time, Tipperary was a building on stilts. Wooden structure and stilts. So we got downstairs at Tipperary as we see. So as soon as you swing off the main road into Church of God Road, the second building is Tipperary. And it was expected that they were coming that particular day. And as they swung in, a lone gunman got to work and they came under fire. And they duck and they run helter-skelter for cover and so on. And that arrogance with which they approached Buxton previously changed. It changed. There are people who know that story and there are people who might talk that story in hushed tones. But I'm saying that is one individual I will forever have respect for. And I want to say also, that individual perhaps was emboldened by the fact that he knew that Buxtonians were fed up of the attitude of the police and would have stood by him. Buxton, as we like to say, is liberated territory. African Guyanese community across this country must be deemed liberated territory. The ancestors don't pay the blood price for that. Communities across this country must be respected. The people, the residents must be respected, regardless of who the government is. And so regardless of your ethnicity or your cultural practices, when any government comes and tell you, we will remove you from this area because we want it for such development, and we have determined that this is the value you will get, people must be able to resist. People must be willing to resist. A man's home is his castle, palace, regardless of what it is built out of. Only he knows the value, I say that. You might see a physical value, but he knows the emotional and the, psychological value attached to it. He knows the significance of what he has. And he must be able to make a determination, a contribution to the determination of that value. Don't allow the government to come and push you off of lands. And those of you who believe that here in $20 and $30 million is big money, I keep saying that one of the things people have to understand is that in this oil economy, what used to be cheap land, or no good land, or swamp land as people used to term them, there's no such thing as cheap land and poor land and swamp lands. If you have land in this society, you're king. In any society, as a matter of fact, you are king. Your land takes value according to demand, like everything else. A friend of mine was telling me the other day, somebody went into Albaisong and was paying rent, rented a 2-bedroom home or something like that for about $80,000 a month. And the individual said to me, I'd never go in Albaisong and pay them kind of rent. Hold the line, caller, good morning. And I explained to the individual, let's say I understand this. The areas that were considered high-class areas that used to attract $80,000 rent now, the rent there is $200,000 and $240,000. And so the $80,000 that you're paying in our Albaisong now is still the cheapest rent. Because those places have accrued in value. The values have gone up because of the demand for housing in this country and the demand for land. And so even land in our Albaisong that you might have been able to get at chicken feed prices, assuming that were so, you're going to be paying hundreds of millions of dollars for now. And so when you see the government pushing people off of land and offering them $40 million as compensation, they know this joke money. Ordinarily, it can't even buy you another plot of land. You heard the MP? A lot of them take their $3 and $5 million and can't complete the home that they expected to build with it. We have to be awake. We have to stay woke. Call A Live, good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki and listeners. I'm so glad you're touching this particular subject right now. I'm thinking about, and I'm empathizing with those that do not have the knowledge of what the value of their homes, of their land are. The government took advantage of those uneducated people that lived on that land. The ones that were aware and just wanted to grab whatever they can get, not realizing it's not going to benefit them in the end. But I'm feeling so sorrowful for the ones that they went to and offered this money and they have no idea of what the value is or what is offered in that area. You know, the government really took advantage of those people. What happened in the beginning when they went in there and the ones that were saying, I'm not going to let them come in and do this to us. I'm not going to let them come, but they let them whisper in the ear and said, I'm going to give you this. Not knowing it doesn't mean anything to those people. I hope Peters Hall is listening and take note. Do not give up your land. Stand up and fight for what you have, because you're going to be sitting there, starting all over from the bottom again, wondering how you're going to make it in that country. That's all I have to say, and have a blessed day.
Thank you, caller. You know, sometimes it's yes, we understand that there are people who are uneducated, there are people who are not as educated as others. But sometimes our demise comes from the fact that we fail to listen and take counsel. Again, the MP said, look, I took legal minds into the community to talk to these people. So, for the greater part, they were spoken to, things were explained to them. I remember the opposition members going into that area when we first heard of these indecent offers to move people from the lands that were going to be close to the road. And we recognized what was going to happen. The opposition went in and spoke with people, at least on 2 occasions I remember. But some people call for leadership, but they don't accept leadership. And a lot of people don't understand the strength in unity. Like Nema Flue said,
Don't let them talk to us individually. Let them talk to us collectively. And don't appoint no one man to represent you. Because human beings are like that. They're corruptible. And the one man might sell all of y'all to the devil. Let them speak to us collectively. And when we get advice, even if we don't understand the advice, keep asking questions for clarity. So at the end of the day, you are better empowered to make a decision. Always tell yourself one thing in this country. Land is the seller's price. The seller's what? If you want land to buy, the seller has the last say. It's my land. A bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. It's my land. You want it, pay the price I want for it, or leave it alone. We have to understand that. $200 million for a piece of land we hear is gold in it? No, it's a piece of land that you need. Right? It is a piece of land that you need. Maybe you can find it elsewhere. Maybe you can find land elsewhere. But you can't find a piece of land like this one, located where it is, with the characteristics that it has. Understand that. People live on a piece of land in a whole house, and some people come and tell them, sell me your house and land. I'm going to get so much. And you say, buy this house on and broke down. It ain't really got the kind of value. It's not the house they want. 2 mornings after you sell, you realize they push down the whole building. And they sit on the land. That is where the value is. I remember a good friend of mine. His family had control of a prime piece of land in the heart of the city, I would like to see. Nice commercial district. And because they can't see eye to eye, one member of the family living overseas stayed from overseas and sold the land locally for what we consider pittance. Because in his mind, the building on it perhaps was old. The person who bought the land was some young Indian guy. This is a black family talking about. In a couple mornings, they pushed down the building. The land is there up until now vacant. But guess what? That valuable piece of land is out of the hand of a black family, now in an Indian family, just lying there, waiting for the next big project. The money that the land was sold for could not adequately meet the needs of those who sold the land. Call A Live, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Happy birthday to myself, and I would like to add a few. The thing we said.
Happy birthday, Rhonda. You left to see many, many more. We gotta get a drink on the birthday.
Okay, thanks. Could I can remember today is my birthday?
Rhonda, happy birthday, Rhonda. We gotta get a drink on the birthday.
Thanks. Okay. Yes, this thing we're talking about land, that is so true. Many relatives who are abroad, you see, they don't have intentions of coming back. So they would quickly sell off the places to people outside. And when your relatives they think that you got the land, you're being evicted. But I think there is a law that if you got people living on the land or occupying this place, the first ones who intend to sell, the person who you have to con, the first person who is being given access to purchase that land, supposed to be the persons who are living there. And if when you give them the option of sale and having the land by buying it from them, and the person cannot come up with the money or the something they don't want, Then you move to point B and dispose of the land in whatever way you think is possible. Now when these people go outside, some of them, I know of a person who had a land, they sold that land, went abroad. And when they returned, they went to the person and offered them must see double to triple time the money. And the people refused to sell them land. They had to go now and relocate and buy a place in South and live there because they couldn't get back the lands here. And the land that they had here had backlands, farmlands, all the land. But you know we're getting South just a house lot. So what Flue-Bess is saying is so true. But people gotta be more alert with land problems in Guyana, at least the Africans, because we got to remember when we came here on those slave ships, we came from a continent of Africa. We knew what land was like. So the first things that the slaves who became apprentices decided, let me buy and own this thing. Let me go land here. And that is what we did. And now our offsprings, the offsprings from those slaves, the slaves, decide we want money and we gonna sell. So now, and then now the rest, now the land grabbing installed regime. All what they're doing is grabbing and taking away and fortifying themselves to now become landowners. And once you got land, you got money. Once you got land, you got money. Because you could build, you could rent out your farmland, and you're making money all the time. So that is why the head of the installed bunch taking away people lands and giving it to their own people so that they now could become landed persons. When I talk people as facts, you got to remember the Indians, the people who come here, came from Calcutta. They didn't got land mass there. And if you look at 1 billion plus people in a little land mass like India and China, can everybody have lands? And the top of the caste chains, they live in places like Delhi, Bombay, all them places where they got massive structures and they acquire the land. And that is not half the population of India. It is less than half. So as they being the rich ones, they are living in squalor and thing. And the rest of people, because in every society, every country, you got the rich, you got the not so rich, you got the in between, you got the lower set. And the lower set, in any way, whether it's a job, whether it's a country, whatsoever you put them, wherever you group these people in, they are always the doormat and the stepping thing that you use to get to the top. So definitely, those people who came here, they're trying to talk, they came from Calcutta. They didn't have nothing but one-eyed man, a king, a blind man country. And that is what they're doing. So they want to say, oh, we're rich. We got this amount of land. But you look at them, they're like Master Willie, where they dress up with his top hat, his cane, his suits, his stockings. And when you meet the first puddle of mud, what you do with it? Everything he broke up and destroyed. Yeah, like that. And when you tell them side effects, because why they grabbing all these lands? I have never seen any of them going in the white box, carry no land with them, or who they burning up by the seawall, burning up land too. So why grab land? Why grab? And when you see they get these riches, as I said early in the week, they're destroying the young. Because the young now, because me daddy got so much acre land, me can't do what me want. Daddy, me want one car. The father go, he buy the dearest car, and he give it to the child might be barely 17. And when they're all over the road, like the Bible, they're running from how much police, and dead over Michael Bridge. And the mother they cussing up and going on at the station, at the court. The magistrate said, this is how you behaving in the court yard. Charge she. But she get on and she go on. But she stopped and said that her son had a right. Police said stop, he stopped. But because me got this car, me run this vehicle, me can't do me one. But what if I didn't realize that all those bridges that are being built now, when you see you going to the bridge, when you're approaching the bridge, you got a hump. And when you come out the bridge, you got another hump. And if you ain't now for drive, and the hump catch you, that's where you're going to end up in. Anyway, bye-bye. And we'll talk about this birthday drink later.
Thank you. Have a good one. Voice note.
Morning, Mr. Amsterdam. Afro-Guyanese in the oil love to sell. If them is selling the panning, they love to sell. Look, I sitting on a land here. I sitting on a land here. What was my grandmother? And her sons are trying to sell it. And I fight them tooth and nail. Because it's a pass down something. I fight them. I got to court everything and win this land. We love to sell. I could remember as a little girl sitting down, I hear my mother talking.
Call over the line. Good morning.
Oh, they had rice farm in Essequibo. All of that they sell out. When it's come to land, black people love to sell land. And you know what? The Indians them just buy it. We just hear about, oh, a $5 million. We would give up and go and rent in a house and sell for the money. Sell it and go and rent in a little pulpin. They love to sell. Look how long I hear you talking about these people in Moko. Right now it bleeding me heart to see what happened to them. For a couple of dollars, a couple of $5 million money. $5 million can't even build a house. It can't even build a proper pig pen. So there's the problem. We love to sell. Everything we get, we sell. If we could sell the children, then we would sell them. They love to sell. Money. They prefer money and war. You know me brother tell me? I got a brother living in a French island for over 20 years. I know he tell me, he said, Joel, you is a millionaire. You is a millionaire. I said, how come? He said, girl, you own your house and your land. I don't wait for much years. I can't own nothing. You don't even own these people's land. So he said, you don't know how you is a millionaire in your own country. Because he said, when you do over there, you own a house and a land, is a millionaire by me side. So I just count myself as a millionaire and they say I value it. And then no amount of money, none amount of money, I accept it. I remember my uncle that coming for fight me for this place. I said, yeah, fight me. We go into the liar. We go into court. Because I know they can't win me. You know, none of them never take on the challenge.
Thank you for that experience. Caller, your life. Good morning. Thank you for holding.
Yes, good morning, Mr. Kadaki. Good morning, all Guyanese. That's a very good story that sister just shared there. That the land is better than paper money. I read somewhere where paper money could be burnt, eaten by wood ants, but the land will remain eternal. Look, there is something that we need to ask ourselves seriously in the quiet of our minds. What is happening now has been happening for at least 23 years. This hasn't just started happening in 2020. 2020 has been a continuation of a certain set of people who have been allowing this misuse of authority to happen under their watch, namely the PPP and as well as the coalition. Now, someone has to be standing down and allowing this to happen. Now, this is a moment for reflection for the talking heads. I know we have good arguments today, but today is only a continuation of what occurred yesterday. And to properly be able to rectify today, we need to address yesterday impunity. Local government isn't nothing new under the PPP. Local government caused the United States ambassador to tell Rama the people should rise up and remove Ramatar. Local government has been the fact that the PPP have been denying us local government. It's equivalent of them denying universal suffrage. Are we realizing that? That it's as equivalent of taking a person's heart out of their body. To deny local government is equivalent of denying national elections, because it's most of the people live in the local municipalities. That's where we live. Nobody lives in parliament. So arguably, local government elections are equally or as more important, because local government elections deal with the day-to-day issues of how we live and exist and govern. Yet we allow that to go untouched, unrectified for 23 years. So I want the talking heads, those who are in control, to reflect on that in the coalition. We can't sweeping under the rug, because sweeping it 23 years under the rug lets me understand that you will sweep this 2 years also under the rug. Because what's happening now in this 2 years is what's been happening in the last 23 years. Another issue we need to reflect on, that we are standing down for a bigger picture. What is the bigger picture that the coalition has been trying to preserve? Why they have not employed other stringent and more radical measures to secure self-determination? You know, self-determination is what Ramatar told the Americans, that they should mind their business because we have the right to self-determination. That's what he said. But how can he be claiming to standing on the pulpit of self-determination while he's denying it? While the PPP has denied self-determination to the people at the local government level? What a hypocrisy. And Jack Dion, none of them could run from it. Neither can the coalition run from it. The PPP have been abusive, and they must be removed with force. The American government spoke that much under Ramatar. And I challenge Jack Dion, anybody to have that debate and to say that's wrong. Why did the American government say that they must be removed? It's because for 23 years the American government was fed up. It was the Republicans who said that the Guyanese should have local government elections. The Republicans, Trump party, under Bush, Condoleezza Rice, Colin Powell. Then under Hillary and Obama, they continue to say the same thing. If we remove the PPP, nobody will object to it. I say it again. If and when we remove the PPP, not a soul will object to it. Not even Mia Mottley, because she sees through it. She ain't no stupid woman. When she speaks, she's all for her black people. So I want you to know this game that the coalition is playing. No tears will be shed for the PPP. They are the vultures of democracy. So let's get over this notion that we need to protect something. There is nothing to protect. America said, get rid of them a long time ago. Then and now, it's still in the State Department policy to get rid of the PPP. Now we should bring up Anthony Milking on that issue. And Aubrey Norton, Cameron Norton, leader, needs to bring that on the forefront. This thing about keeping a life sore, keeping a goatee, because we don't want to cut the PPP goatee, then cut it. PPP ain't nothing but a goatee. Need to cut it. Now, on the issue of judicial review, I don't know why judicial review is not being adhered to. How can judicial review be something that Rosedale Ford has to fight for now? I am glad, I am encouraged that Rosedale Ford, leader of the team of the APNU, has taken the issue to challenge the PPP installed president for dereliction of duty in the courts. That is now before the courts. And I'm encouraged, and I encourage us to support that. Why? Because you cannot say the PPP administration cannot deny judicial review, because every other department of government depends upon judicial review. Judicial review is not there for none allowed to deny. There are other laws which depend on the protections and the provisions which the principle and the doctrine of judicial review supports and requires. Judicial review is required inherently in the Constitution. Recently, in Belize, the homosexuals, the anti-man them, wanted rights. The Belize government didn't want to give them their rights. So they went to the CCJ, and the CCJ said that the anti-man they must get their rights in Belize. Even though the Belizean parliament says that's unlawful, the CCJ used judicial review to say that law in Belize is unconstitutional, and it gave the anti-man them rights. The point, I'm not an advocate for anti-man. The point I'm making, I'm an advocate for right anywhere. Now the CCJ presides over Guyana. And in Guyana, they have the anti-men were given the right for cross-dressing in Guyana. If I'm wrong, tell me I'm wrong. The Guyanese parliament does not allow anti-man behavior. So how come anti-men in Guyana are allowed to cross-dress? It's because the CCJ used judicial review by way of common law, where judges are allowed to use judicial review under common law. And it says that anti-man could cross-dress in Guyana. That's how they're cross-dressing in Guyana.
Thank you, caller.
That's how the law says. Hello?
Wrap up, caller.
Okay. So, how is the CCJ allowed to use judicial review? But Guyana Constitution, which has the protections and provision of judicial review, isn't allowed to use it because the Attorney General and the PPP are stymieing judicial review. This is an issue for the courts. But we can't have the courts unless we scrutinize the courts, Mr. Kadaki. We need to begin to educate this populace about how the court is important to our everyday living in this democracy. Once again, thank you for living. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for calling. It's now 11 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. I got to sing a man with some advice to you.
Cause you think cheap. But let me give you a rundown about this whole Black Friday thing. They're using us, the black people, to take them out of the red. You see, those who doing business at a high level understand that when you're in the red, your business in trouble. And when it's in the black, it flying high. You're out of all trouble, you're in a surplus and not a deficit. So they're using us, black people, to take them out of the red. This is why they call it a Black Friday, because this is the day you're running into the store and you're spending millions of dollars. And it look like they're doing something for you, but they ain't doing nothing for you. Same thing they used to do with the slave. On that day, they sell slaves, 2-3 slaves for the same money that they normally sell for one. So they're using us from then until now. So we gotta understand the reality of this Black Friday thing. Our nation is using us. But don't worry, let's tell them something. This particular race is the mother of all race, and we belong to the Almighty. And those who using us, you got to pay a dear price. You got to pay monetarily, you got to pay physically, and you got to pay spiritually. And you can't escape. Because the Most High said when we come out, when He take you out of slavery, we can come out as a rich nation. Because it's the hardest cause we. But then He also vexed with you for using the people. He said, oh God, could be a little contradicting at time. I can put you in slavery and I can take you out. And I can deal with the people who abuse you. That's why I like we got for. So y'all enjoy your ride. Because y'all day coming. But anyhow, listen. Don't buy nothing for Christmas. Let them keep them merchandise. Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them know black people wise. Yeah. Don't buy nothing for Christmas. Let them keep them merchandise. Don't buy nothing for Christmas. Make them know black man get wise. Them not love black people, but them love the money. The truth don't reveal, everybody don't see. They never care damn but the black community. All who may see man is be poverty. Them send them policeman for distress we. Them send them policeman for eliminate we. Beer get to work, then they get to picking. The government I pass we. Tell them 8%, me say that I pass. Look them in them face, tell them carry them ass. In the almighty book, none of them can pass. Yes, and one black people for eat grass. Big belly ear fan is a lion Santa. Bitty lion mouth but one Guyana. When everybody know it out of order. Them pushing black people in a hole further. That's why don't spend your money for Christmas. Let them keep them merchandise coffee sing. Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them know black man get wise. Hey, go so then. Don't buy nothing for Christmas. Let them keep them merchandise. Boom. Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them know black man get wise. Boom. The real Santa is the businessman. To destroy black people, me know them have a plan. Give them a white Jesus and make them second hand. Them the real thing, we are the inferior one. Them the maker, we are the consumer. Everything would them make we spend out with dollar. When New Year come, you have to beg your neighbor. Why Santa to the bank a laugh? Ha ha ha. Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them keep them merchandise. Coffee sing say. Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them know black man get wise. Me say so. King Coffee says so. Oh.
Don't spend your money for Christmas. Make them keep their merchandise. It's 7 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour, that is. 7 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. We can take a call or a message. Caller, good morning, you're live. 7 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour, that is. Caller, you're live, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning. I'm requesting, right? You continue doing what you're doing. You're fighting a good fight. And I'm requesting a copy of that tune. I don't want to spend the money for the Christmas.
Okay, sir.
Right? All right.
The lines remain open. 6225933 is the number to call. It's 6 minutes to the 9 o'clock hour. You tune to the BUXTONIAN morning time. I am your host, Kidaki Amsterdam. Remember, it's Thursday, so come on down to Club Twilight and spend some of that 8% with us. Hey, sporting fans, it's here. Yes, it's the Club Twilight Old School Thursdays featuring Selector Delta and DJ Bishop. Yes, this Thursday, come on down to Club Twilight Sideline down Buxton North for Old School Thursdays. Karaoke on demand. Yes, Selector Delta and DJ Bishop on the ones and twos, karaoke in the house, and lots of old school style. Come check it out this Thursday at Club Twilight, sideline down Buxton North. Big up yourself and go on. Club Twilight promotions done.
I select the Delta. I select the Delta.
Call it live. Good morning.
Good morning, Kadaki. Good morning. You're on the move this morning. Wow. Kadaki, that program that Dr. Hinds had last night, oh my God. I suspected, but not all of that. My stomach, like you push a dagger in my belly. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. But Kanaki, I don't understand. For how many years this thing been going on? It's not now this thing started, and why nobody didn't take up the mantle to pursue, to say, well, look, you cannot run a country like this. Why? Now you guys have to come out. If these other leaders who were there before know that these things were happening, why didn't they address it? When they talk about when Dr. Hinds and Nigel, Mr. Hughes last night, but Guyana gonna be turned like 80. No one wants that. People need to go beg people to come out and help them. Why they didn't beg and ask people to help them in the international community years ago? And to get this thing straight, no, you just sit back because you're inside of here. Come on, you cannot do that. You're gonna destroy. You have to remember, it's 6 races there. When you want to take over all of this, what's gonna happen to the other people? How can you be like that? My goodness, that, I know for any right-thinking mind people who heard that program and then heard you this morning with Miss Bess. She's been fighting the struggle for all the time and so young at a young age. Where, Maluko, where are the rest of them? Miss Bess, she needed to come to New York. And not the rest of them who come, because all them just dragging their foot, pussyfooting. They're just dragging their foot. They ain't doing nothing. You don't want a confrontation with no war. You want peace. Push them out there. Get the international community involved. Get anything you do. You got to do data. Data is important. Everything in the United States is data, no matter where you work. You could be working for cleaning, it's data you got to produce. The boss says, show me the data to see how you need more people. You're working in the lab, you got to show data. Everything you work in the United States, you must show data. How come you want all these people to be working? I do not understand these people. You know what? Kadaki, that oil should have stayed right down there in the bottom. It should have stayed right there because look at all this atrocity. But not all the races are facing, not only blacks, all the races are facing. It is not right. It is not right. You have to speak and say something. You've got to speak out. Look at you. Look at Dr. Hinds. From since God knows when, all these ages, all these years, fighting. No, make it this time. It's across the board and everybody's supposed to come on board. Get everybody. I can't believe when Mayor Monthly hear what Dr. Hinds and Nigel Hughes last night. Wonder what she said. Wonder if her stomach dropped. Maybe she's stomach can drop. She stomach didn't drop? No way, because all them collect the little money and they feel nice. They collect the money and they feel nice that they don't get into Guyana already. Then I think about back in the days when I used to come there and digging out me yam and me planting and go back and come back. Then I realized that kindness for stand up for say no. When she don't collect you, then she come back and then she talk something positive. No, you don't talk wrong, talk already. You have to speak out. You cannot keep this thing. Things like this, that's the reason why I met a Guyanese. And he said, ma'am, I'm sorry to say, but he didn't left out himself. He said, we Guyanese are stupid. We don't understand the atrocities, what people are putting on us. We don't understand it. We do not understand it. And I think for what Nigel, you said last night, I hope it wake them up to understand what is going on.
Thank you, caller.
You have a blessed day.
It's now a minute past the 9 o'clock hour. I'm preparing to take the wrap. I got a voice note or two to run for you.
Chronicle newspaper, I think they're getting read more than probably it's been overlooked. Concerning the ongoing COI. Right? With this election thing. Now, the Chronicle is supposed to be a news agency, a state media, right? The Chronicle, in my view...
You know what, we're going to do with the Chronicle tomorrow, man. It's 9 o'clock. It's past 9 o'clock. It's a minute past 9. So I'm taking my leave of you. We'll talk more tomorrow on these issues and more. Do have a pleasant rest of the day. I look forward to hearing from you tomorrow. Today is what? Thursday. Dr. Hinds is going to be on Politics 101 again. And I encourage you to come down also and support Club Twilight. It's Thursday night. Come down and have a good time listening to some oldies, vibes and so on. Good music, good vibes, refreshment, etc. Everything at a good price too. So come on down. Beautiful atmosphere. Come and have a good time. You know, you can't always stress. Sometimes you need some relaxation, you know. Good. See you later in the evening at Club Twilight. See you later in the evening on Politics 101. And definitely see you tomorrow morning on BUXTONIAN Morning Time. Have a good day, y'all. Rhonda, happy birthday, girl. You best come to Club Twilight tonight and celebrate his birthday. Drink some